Yo, my name's Liam. I talk about business, I talk about philosophy, I talk about a lot of different things on here. So I wanted to bring up, I was talking about this the other day, I really don't like most frat guys. Just from a distance. I have a lot of friends who are frat guys, so don't get me wrong. Maybe that's hypocritical, but I do have a problem with kind of the overarching idea with frats. Because they do have the persona that they're douchebags. And so let me just preface this by saying this might be out of context because I've never been in a frat, never been to frat parties. And yeah, maybe my opinion does not matter for those reasons. But I'm going to say this anyways. I think my problem, which I realized this recently, is that it goes against one of my core values from what I understand, which is being authentic. So what that means to me is doing exactly what you want to do and being yourself. However, I feel like people who are in frats, they change. They're all so similar. And I get told a lot that, oh, you're the most unique person I've ever met. And I'm not actually really unique at all. We're all supposed to be unique. As humans, we're all vastly different. But because of social media, because of, I think frats is just, a certain instance where it happens. But social media, that's a big one. I mean, frats, you get pushed into doing things and conforming in a way that destructs your authentic self. So I like to joke around. I do weird shit sometimes. And I think people can sense when they're around me that I'm being authentic. And for whatever reason, that's become rare. Whereas I think life would be so interesting, which the only blockade is insecurity. We're afraid of being ourselves. But it isn't until you let go and start not giving a damn about what people think, that's when you actually become interesting. And it's hard to break free of that because we're so accustomed to being afraid. With phones, whatever. But I think another problem is that we don't think about these things enough. We don't really think about anything. There's no thought anymore because there's no time to think. We always have access to stimulus, like our phones or porn. I don't know. We have access to stimulus that there's no reason for us to be bored, sit in a room, and just think about what we really want. My main point here is that just be yourself. I feel like a lot of great things come from just being authentic. One, you're going to go down a path that you actually want to go down. You're not going to follow anyone else's path, which I think a lot of people get pushed into when they go to college, when they join a frat, etc. Two, life's going to be way more fun when you become unequivocally yourself, unforgivably, one might say. Life is so much fun when you don't worry about every single move you're making, every single word you're saying. It really is just being present. It's a oneness with the world that you can't get with anything else. And so if there's something in your life that you feel like isn't quite you deep down, I feel like you gotta make a decision on and ask yourself, why are you doing that? And should you be doing it anymore? So my main point was that frats are just one of those groups in particular. I'm not saying it's just frats, but I realized recently that's why I hate them. I feel like people drink and party just because they don't ask themselves what they really want. And so they sit in this, they've got 4 years of just simply a distraction. All because I think it's partly because they don't have time or don't take time to think for themselves. They also aren't authentic. Because it's crazy to think that we have so many people on earth, but we're able to pinpoint who's similar to who, especially personality-wise. Looks, whatever, you don't choose how you look. I mean, you do choose how you dress, and so there's trends, and so people will dress similar. Again, another thing, I think what you dress says a lot about what you're trying to portray. So I'm conscious at least about what I wear and what I'm saying with what I'm wearing. But as far as your personality goes, I feel like we've all conformed, again, based on social media and especially frats. So if you've noticed this, let me know. But this was just a light bulb moment I had the other day, because I've always had this problem with frats and I haven't realized what it is. I know I don't like partying or drinking, so there's a lot of things wrong with that. But I realized that I think it might be 1 or 2 in the hierarchy of importance, value-wise. I think it might be 1. I'm not sure, because I can put a lot of bullshit aside if I just know who you actually are. If I know who the person I'm talking to is, and there's a lot of trust in that, there's a lot of comfort in authenticity. I just love that. For instance, I have friends who drink and smoke, but I've known them for so long, I know who they actually are. Particularly this guy named Ryan. I'd be surprised if you watched this video, but dude is the laziest piece of shit I've ever met. But he owns it, and he's always been extremely authentic. Is he wasting his life away? Sure. But he'll admit that, and he's also one of the most authentic people I've met. And so I know he's doing it for, I'm not sure why he does it, but I know that he's doing it honestly because he wants to, not for anyone else. So I think if you can be authentic, people put a lot of bullshit aside for you. And it's not necessarily the I don't give a fuck about anything mentality, being an asshole. It's just being who you are. And you can develop and learn, but you have to stay true to who you are and not fall into conformity. Hope this was valuable. Liam out.